10 years ago, Leo watched the sky split open as the great silver ship rose from the edge of the desert and vanished into the stars. His brother, Malek, was on that ship, one of the last colonists sent from Earth to a distant world called Epsilon 9. The government said it was a new beginning, a chance for humanity to grow beyond its home. But to Leo, it felt like losing a part of himself. They had grown up together in a small coastal town, where the sea whispered against the rocks and the sun painted the sky every evening. Malik was the brave one, the one who climbed the tallest trees, who stood up to bullies, who dreamed of flying among the stars. Leo was quieter, thoughtful, always reading old books or fixing broken machines in their garage. But they were a team, two halves of the same whole dot. When Malik left, he promised to stay in touch. "I'll call every week," he said, hugging Leo tight. "We'll see each other on the screen. It'll be like I never left." At first, he did. Messages came through fuzzy videos of red deserts and strange plants, Malik laughing in a heavy suit, saying how cold it was at night. Leo sent back videos of the beach, the storms, the little things, his new dog, the bakery down the street, the way the moon looked over the water. They talked about everything. But then, slowly, the messages got shorter, then less frequent. Then they stopped. Leo tried to reach out. He sent messages, made calls, but the signal was weak, the time zones too far apart. Sometimes months passed with no reply. He heard through others that life on Epsilon 9 was hard storms, broken systems, supply shortages. Malik was busy, surviving, still. Leo felt the distance like a cold wind in his chest. It wasn't just space that separated them. It was silence. It was time. It was the growing fear that Malik had moved on, that his new life had replaced the old one replaced him. He didn't know how to fix it. Every time he tried to write a message, the words felt wrong. Too sad, too desperate. He didn't want Malik to feel guilty. He just wanted to hear his voice again, to know he was still there, that their bond hadn't faded like an old photo. Years passed. Leo grew older. He fixed radios at the community center. He walked the beach every evening, just like Malik used. T.O. He kept a small box under his bed filled with old photos, a worn space program brochure, a note Malik had written before he left. "See you on the other side of the stars." One night, as Leo sat on the porch watching the sky, a news alert flashed on his tablet. A deep space signal had been detected originating from beyond the asteroid belt. It wasn't random noise. It was a pattern. A call scientists didn't understand it at first. But Leo did. He played the signal through an old decoder he'd built years ago, just in case. And then he heard it. A voice, faint, broken by static, but unmistakable. "Leo, you there? It's me, Malik." Leo's breath caught. His hands shook. He pressed the speaker button and whispered, "Malik, is that really you?" The voice came again, stronger this time. "I'm back, little brother. We're all back." Leo didn't understand at first. Then the news channels exploded with updates. Ships, hundreds of them, were appearing at the edge of the solar system. Old colony vessels, rebuilt and refitted. Ships from Epsilon 9, from Orion's Reach, from the far Jovian outposts worlds Earth had forgotten. They weren't coming as refugees. They weren't asking for help. They were returning, and they were broadcasting one message across every frequency, in every language, on every planet and station. The forgotten sons of Earth returned in silence, and the galaxy trembled when they roared. Tears rolled down Leo's face as he listened to the broadcast. It wasn't just a war cry. It was a promise, a declaration. These were the people Earth had sent away, left behind, and assumed lost. But they had survived. They had built. They had remembered who they were, And now they were home. Leo looked up at the sky. The stars didn't feel so distant anymore. A new message came through, direct, encrypted, personal. It was from Malik. We never forgot you. Leo, we carried Earth with us in our hearts, in our stories, in everything we built. We stayed silent because we had to survive. But now we speak, and we're coming back to where it all began. Wait for me. Leo smiled for the first time in years. He stood up, walked to the edge of the cliff, and looked out at the ocean. The wind blew strong, like it did the day Malik left. But this time, it didn't feel like goodbye. It felt like a beginning. He opened his old journal and wrote 3 words at the top of a fresh page. We are not forgotten. Then he picked up his radio, adjusted the frequency, and spoke into the microphone, clear, strong, full of hope. Malik, I'm here. I've always been here. Come home. And somewhere, in the vast silence between the stars, a man named Malik heard his brother's voice after 10 long years, and smiled. The forgotten sons of Earth had returned in silence, and the galaxy trembled when they roared. But for Leo, the loudest sound of all was the voice of his brother, calling him home. The days after Leo heard Malik's voice were full of waiting. Every morning he woke up early, walked to the old radio tower on the hill, and checked the signal. The world around him had changed. News stations played the same message over and over. Colonial fleets entering soul orbit. No hostile action. Repeat, no hostile action. People were scared. Some thought it was an invasion. Others said it was a miracle. But Leo only thought of one thing: his brother. He remembered the last time Malik was home. It was for a short visit, years ago, before the long mission to Epsilon 9. They had sat on the beach, watching the sunset, talking about everything and nothing. Malik had said, "No matter how far I go, Leo, you're always with me. You're my anchor." Now, Leo wondered, was he still that anchor? Or had too much time passed? He wanted to be happy. He was happy, but there was also fear. What if Malik had changed too much? What if the man who left wasn't the same man coming back? 10 years in deep space, surviving on a harsh world. How could anyone stay the same? Leo didn't know how to say all this. He tried writing a letter, then deleted it. Tried recording a voice message, turned it off halfway. He didn't want to sound weak, but he didn't want to hide how he felt either. So he did what he knew best. He worked. He repaired old communication gear at the community center, helped set up antennas to receive signals from the returning ships, fixed a broken weather drone so it could map the sky for incoming landings. People started calling him the man who speaks to the stars. He smiled, but inside, he was just trying to stay busy, trying not to feel the ache of waiting. One night, as he sat on the porch with his dog, Kai, a bright light flashed across the sky. Not a shooting star. Too slow, too steady. It was a ship descending. Leo's heart jumped. He grabbed his tablet and checked the public tracker. The ship was on final approach. Designation: Epsilon 9 Colonial Shuttle. Call sign: Dawn Chaser. His breath stopped. That was Malik's ship. He remembered the name. Malik had picked it years ago. "Because every night on Epsilon is long and dark," he once said. "But I'll always chase the dawn." Leo ran inside, splashed water on his face, fixed his shirt. He looked in the mirror. His hair was longer. There were lines near his eyes now. He wasn't the young man Malik had left behind. Would Malik even recognize him? He drove to the coastal landing zone, the only open field big enough for the shuttle. A small crowd had gathered, kept behind safety lines. Officials in uniforms stood ready. Medics, translators, reporters with cameras. Leo stood at the edge, heart pounding. The dawn. Chaser touched down gently, kicking up a soft cloud of dust and sea mist. The engines hummed down. The hatch opened. And then there he was. Malik stepped out in a gray flight suit, tall and strong, but with silver in his hair and deep lines on his face. He looked older, tired, but his eyes, Leo knew those eyes. They scanned the crowd, searching and then they found him. Leo couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Malik's face changed. A slow smile spread across it. Then he started walking fast at first, then breaking into a run. Leo met him halfway. They didn't speak. They just hugged tight, like they were holding each other up. Like if they let go, the other might vanish again. I'm here, Malik whispered. I'm really here. Leo nodded, tears streaming down his face. I waited. I never stopped. They sat on the grass for a long time, talking. Not about the war, not about the galaxy, not about the great return of the forgotten sons. Just about small things. Did you keep the old radio? Yes, I fixed it. Do you still hate olives? Worse now? The beach still the same? Only if you're on it. Malik told stories about storms on Epsilon 9 that lasted for weeks, about how they grew food in sealed domes, about how they kept Earth's music, Earth's books, Earth's hope alive. We didn't just survive, he said. We remembered who we were. We taught our kids about home, about kindness, about fixing things instead of breaking them. Leo smiled. Sounds like us. It is us, Malik said. That's what the return is about. Not power, not revenge. It's about saying, we're still human, and we still belong. That night, they walked along the shore, just like before. Kai ran ahead, chasing the waves. The moon was full. The air was warm. Leo looked at his brother and said, I was scared. You'd forget me. Malik stopped walking. He put a hand on Leo's shoulder. You were the one thing I couldn't forget. When the lights went out on Epsilon, I thought of your voice. When I was cold, I remembered this beach. You weren't just my brother, Leo. You were my home. Leo didn't answer right away. He just looked at the stars. Then he said, So, what now? Malik smiled. Now, we rebuild. Together. Even after Malik came home, there were moments when Leo still felt far away. It wasn't because Malik was gone. He was right there laughing at the dinner table, walking Kai on the beach, helping rebuild the old radio station. But sometimes, when Leo looked at his brother, he saw something new in his eyes, something deep and quiet, like the silence between stars. Malik had lived a lifetime on Epsilon 9. He had buried friends, led people through dust storms, made choices no one should have to make. And though he smiled, Leo could tell some nights Malik wasn't really there. His body was, but his mind was back on that red world, under a pale sun, hearing voices. From the past. Leo wanted to help, but he didn't know how. He wasn't a soldier or a leader. He was just a man who fixed radios and liked quiet evenings. What could he say to someone who had seen so much? He tried talking. Asked about Epsilon 9. Malik would answer, but only in small pieces, like he was protecting Leo from something too heavy. It was hard, Malik would say, but we made it. That was it. No details, no stories. Just silence after. Leo started to wonder if the distance wasn't in space anymore, but in memory. One morning, while cleaning the storage room at the community center, Leo found an old box labeled Malik Personal. Inside were notebooks, photos, a worn jacket, and a small data chip. He held it in his hand. It looked like an old Earth memory drive, something from before the deep space missions. His heart beat fast. Should I play it? He carried it home and plugged it into his repaired console. The screen flickered, then showed a date. Year 7, Epsilon 9. Colony Dot, it was a video. Malik sat in a small room, lit by a single lamp. He looked tired, older, but he smiled when he saw the camera. "Hey, Leo," he said softly. "If you're watching this, I made it home, or you found this somehow. Either way, I'm glad." Leo's breath caught. He hadn't known Malik. "Made these. I don't call much," Malik continued. "Not because I don't want to. It's because every time I try, my voice breaks. I miss you so much it hurts. Out here, in the dust and cold, the thing I hold on to most is your laugh. The way you used to fix that old bike for me, even when you didn't know how. You never gave up. And I don't want to disappoint you." Leo wiped his eyes. "I don't know if Earth still cares about us," Malik said. "We were sent. Away, forgotten. But I tell the people here, we are still human. We carry Earth in our blood, in our dreams. And one day I'll go back, and I'll tell my brother. I never stopped loving him." The video ended. Leo sat in the dark, heart full. All this time, he thought Malik had moved on, that the distance had changed him too much. But Malik had been, carrying him, just like Leo had been carrying Malik. The next day, Leo didn't go to the radio station. He stayed home. He took out his old notebook, the one where he'd written unsent letters over the years. He flipped through the pages. "I miss you. I hope you're safe. Do you remember the lighthouse?" He chose one letter, the most honest one. The one where he admitted he was scared Malik wouldn't come back. Where he said he sometimes cried at night just from missing him. He recorded it, not with a fancy voice modulator or a public broadcast. Just his voice. Simple. Real. Then he handed it to Malik that evening, sitting on the porch. "For you," he said. Malik played it. When it ended, he didn't speak. He just looked at Leo, eyes wet, and pulled him into a long hug. "You were my light, Leo," he whispered. "And I didn't even know you were still shining." From that night on, things changed. Malik started sharing more. Not all at once, but slowly. He told stories about the first snow on Epsilon, about the child who learned Earth songs, about how they used to watch the stars and point to Sol, saying, "That's home." Leo listened, and when Malik had nightmares, he was there. Not with answers, just with silence and presence, and tea made the way their mother used to. People in town began to notice. The brothers were different. Now, not just together, but connected. Stronger. When the new Earth Colony Council asked Malik to speak at the Unity Gathering, he said no. But then he added, "My brother should speak instead." Leo was shocked. "Me? I'm not a leader. I don't know what to say," Malik smiled. "You already said it. In that letter, you told the truth. That's what people need now, not speeches, not power, just truth, just heart." So Leo stood on the stage, under open skies, with hundreds watching and millions listening across Earth and the returning colonies. He didn't wear a uniform, didn't use grand words. He just spoke. "I missed my brother," he began. "For 10 years, I felt alone. I didn't know if he was safe, if he remembered me, if he still loved me. And I think so many of us feel that way. The ones left behind, the ones who waited, the ones who never gave up hope." He looked out at the crowd. The forgotten sons of Earth didn't return with weapons or anger. They returned with memory, with love, with the same stubborn hope that built our cities, survived our wars, and brought us to the stars in the first place. We don't need to prove we're strong. We are strong because we care, because we wait, because we never stopped trying to come home. A silence fell, then applause. Not loud, not wild, but deep, honest, like the sound of hearts opening. Afterward, people came to Leo, not just from town, from other cities, from colonies. They said the same thing. I felt that. I've been waiting too. Malik stood at the back, arms crossed, smiling. That night, the brothers sat on the beach, watching the sky. Proud of you, Malik said. Leo smiled. Proud of us. Above them, ships moved like stars coming home, linking worlds, carrying people who had waited, survived, and never let go. The forgotten sons of Earth had returned in silence, and the galaxy trembled when they roared. But the real power wasn't in the ships or the signals or the strength. It was in the quiet moments. Letter read after 10 years. A voice speaking truth. A brother's hand on a brother's shoulder. It was in the love that distance could not break. And as long as that love lived, no one would ever be truly lost again. After the Unity gathering, life in the coastal town began to change. Visitors came not just from other cities, but from the stars. Colonists who had lived decades in silence, now returning to Earth, searching for lost family, old friends, or just a place to belong. Some carried sadness in their eyes. Others wore hope like a new coat. All of them carried stories. Leo and Malik opened the old community center to them. What was once a place for fixing radios became a hub for reconnecting hearts. They set up a small room with screens, speakers, and an old Earth database Leo had rebuilt from fragments. People could come and search for names, messages, or signals sent long ago. Some found nothing. Others found a voice, a photo, a letter waiting like a seed beneath snow. One afternoon, an older woman came in. Her name was Ilara. She wore a faded blue jacket with a colony badge from Proxima 3, a world Earth had lost contact with 50 years ago. I'm looking for my son, she said, voice soft but steady. His name is Tarek. He left when he was 20. I haven't heard from him since year 12 of the colony. Leo nodded. He didn't promise anything, but he sat with her, typed the name into the system, and began searching. Hours passed. Then a match, a voice recording, sent on a week. Civilian band, buried in old military archives. Dated just 6 months ago. Leo played it. To anyone from Proxima 3 or Earth, this is Tarek Vaughn, survivor of the Proxima outpost. We are alive. We are rebuilding. We remember home. If you can hear this, we are coming back. Ilara covered her mouth. Tears fell. He's alive, she whispered. After all this time, he's coming home. Leo smiled. Yes, and he never stopped trying to reach you. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Ilara's face, how one small message had lit up years of darkness. He thought about how many others were still waiting, how many hearts were quietly breaking, hoping for a sign. He turned to Malik. We should do more. Not just help people find each other. We should connect them. Make it easier, faster. Malik agreed. You've always been good at hearing what others miss. So they began building something new, a network. Not just for Earth, but for every returning colony. A system that used old Earth frequencies, new colony signals, and even salvaged alien relays to carry messages across space. They called it the still voice. No flashy tech. No government control. Just a simple idea. No one should be forgotten. Volunteers joined, engineers, teachers, even kids who had grown up hearing stories of the lost generations. They set up towers, fixed old satellites, and taught people how to send a message into the void. One day, a young girl came in. Her name was Nia. She was 12. Her father had gone to a mining colony near Saturn when she was 3. She didn't remember his face. Only a photo and a lullaby he used to sing. Leo helped her record a message. Hi, Dad, she said, voice small but clear. I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but I'm okay. I go to school. I like drawing. Mom says you love the stars. I do too. I look at them every night and wonder if you're looking at the same ones. I hope you're safe. I hope you come home. I love you. She sent it into the network. Weeks passed, and a reply. A weak signal from a drifting station near Titan. A man's voice, tired but full of joy. Nia? My little star, I heard you. I heard you and I'm coming. Hold on a little longer. When Nia heard it, she cried, then laughed, then hugged Leo like he was family. That moment changed something in him. He realized it wasn't just about technology. It was about hope. The kind that doesn't shout. The kind that whispers, I'm still here. More people came. A brother searching for his twin. A wife. Not every story had a happy ending. Leo learned that one quiet morning, when a man came to the Still Voice Center with a photo in his hand and sadness in his eyes. His name was Darius. He was tall, with gray hair and hands worn from work. He didn't speak at first, just looked at the screens, watching messages flicker through the network calls from children to parents, lovers to lost partners, siblings to brothers and sisters who hadn't been seen in decades. Then he said, I'm looking for my sister, Lyra. She left on the Odyssey 7. That was 32 years ago. Leo nodded gently. We'll check. Every signal gets saved, even the weak ones. He ran the search. The system found records. Yes, Lyra Vaughn had been on the Odyssey 7. The ship had reached its colony world, but contact was lost after year 15. No final message. No distress call. Just silence. I sent her letters, Darius said, voice low. Every year, on her birthday. On mine. On the day our parents died. I told her about the garden I planted for her, about the sea, about how much I missed her. But I never got a reply. Leo looked at him. You never stopped hoping. Darius nodded. Hope doesn't turn off just because the light goes out. Leo felt a deep ache in his chest. He knew that feeling. He had lived it. He didn't promise Darius would find his sister, but he promised he wouldn't stop looking. Days passed. Then, weeks. They checked deep archives, old military logs, even signals picked up by passing drones near the Kuiper Belt. Nothing. Darius kept coming. Not every day, but often. He started helping organizing files, teaching new volunteers how to filter signals. He didn't do it for himself. He said, if I can help someone else find their person, then I'm still doing something good. Leo admired him. Here was a man who had lost hope of being reunited, yet still chose to care. One evening, as rain tapped softly on the roof, Leo was going through a batch of old data recordings from a broken satellite near Mars. Most were noise. But one fragment caught his ear. A voice, faint, female, singing. Not a song from Earth, not a colony hymn, but a lullaby one that had been sung to children across many worlds, passed down through generations. Leo's breath stopped. He cleaned the audio, boosted the signal, and then, between the static, he heard it. Darius, little brother, if you can hear this, I'm sorry I never answered. The world here was hard. The comms died. But I remembered you. Every day. I sang your favorite song when I felt alone. I told the children about you. I told them my brother never gave up on me. And I never gave up on him. It was her. Lyra. The message had been sent years ago, on a weak band, never received, lost in space. Until now. Leo played it again. And again, the next morning, he called Darius. When Darius heard his sister's voice soft, tired, but alive in memory, he sat down and cried. Not loud sobs, just quiet tears, like rain after a long drought. She remembered, he whispered. All this time, she remembered. Leo placed a hand on his shoulder. And you never stopped calling. That's what kept her voice alive in the system. That's what brought it back. Darius didn't reply. He just hugged Leo, long and tight. Later, he stood in front of the community and said, I may never see my sister again. The Odyssey 7 colony is gone. No ships have reached it. She might be gone too, but hearing her voice, it's like she's still with me, like the distance isn't so wide anymore. He looked at the others and the room-returning colonists. Waiting families, quiet hearts. We think love needs to be loud, he said. We think it needs proof, a letter, a call, a hug. But sometimes, love is just waiting. It's writing a letter you know might never be read. It's singing a song into the dark, hoping someone out there is listening. That's what kept me going. That's what kept her alive in my heart. After that day, something changed. More. People came to the still voice, not just to search, but to leave messages. Even if they didn't know if their loved one was alive. Even if the odds were small. A mother told her son she was proud of him. A husband said he still kept her favorite. Cup clean. A daughter sang the song her father taught her. They sent them into the network. Into the stars. Not because they expected a reply, but because they needed to be heard. Leo watched it all with quiet pride. Malik found him one night, sitting by the console, listening to a new batch of messages. You built something bigger than you thought, Malik said. Leo smiled. I didn't build it. We all did, every person who refused to stop caring. Malik sat beside him. Earth used to think strength was in armies, in ships, in loud voices, but you've shown them something else. What's that? That the strongest thing in the universe is a human heart that refuses to let go. The next week, a signal came in from deep space. It was weak, broken, but clear enough. A colony ship Odyssey 7's sister vessel had found a buried transmission from Lyra's world. They sent it to Earth as a gift. In it, Lyra spoke one last time. To my brother, Darius, if you are out there, thank you for never forgetting me. I lived because I believed you are still calling. And now I answer, I love you, and I'm at peace. Darius played it every night. He didn't need to find her body. He didn't need a reunion. He had her voice, her love, her yes, and that was enough. As the stars turned and the returning fleets grew closer, Leo stood on the beach once more. The wind carried the sound of waves, of distant voices, of hope echoing across the dark. The forgotten sons of Earth had returned in silence. The galaxy trembled when they roared, but in the quiet corners of the world, in small rooms and broken radios, in letters never sent and songs sung into the void, the real truth was clear. No distance is too great for a heart that still beats with love, and as long as someone remembers, no one is ever truly lost. Spring came early that year. The air was warm, the sea calm, and flowers bloomed along the cliffs where only weeds had grown before. It was as if the whole town was waking up, but not everyone felt the light. A girl named Mira arrived one morning, quiet and small, with a worn backpack and eyes that looked far away. She stood at the door of the Still Voice Center for a long time before stepping inside. Leo saw her first. Hi, he said gently. Can I help you? She nodded. I'm looking for my dad. She handed him a faded photo. A man with kind eyes and a wide smile, standing in front of a green hill. The date on the back read, Sol 12 Colony Departure. Year 2041. Leo's heart sank a little. That was before the Great Silence, the time when Earth still sent ships, but stopped supporting them. Thousands had vanished into space. Most were never heard from again. His name is Elias, Myra said. He left when I was 3. I don't remember his voice, just this photo. Leo sat with her. How did you find us? I heard a broadcast, she said, from a man who fixed old signals. They said you help people find each other. Leo smiled. We try. But inside, he worried. Sol 12 was one of the oldest lost colonies. No signals had come from it in over 50 years. Many believed the planet had died frozen, poisoned, or torn apart by storms. Still, he ran the search. Nothing. No messages. No records. No signs of life. Myra didn't cry. She just looked down at the photo and whispered, I thought maybe if I came here, I'd feel closer to him. That night, Leo couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Myra. Not just her sadness, but her courage. She had traveled hundreds of miles with nothing but hope and a picture to find someone who might not even exist anymore. And then he remembered something Malik once told him. We don't just return in ships, Leo. We return in memory, in stories, in the things we pass on. Maybe Myra didn't need a message from her father. Maybe she just needed to know he mattered. The next day, Leo gathered old records, colony logs, departure lists, even school archives from the time Sol 12 launched. He looked for anything about Elias. And then he found it. A single line in a crew log. Elias Tron, botanist. Assigned to terraform team. Passionate about earth plants. Brought seeds from home. Seeds. Leo's mind lit up. He ran to the storage room and pulled out an old box labeled historical samples, pre-silence era. Inside were glass vials, dusty and forgotten. One had a faded label, Sol 12 test, batch, earth flora. His hands shook as he opened it. Inside, dried seeds, tiny, brown, lifeless to the eye. But seeds can sleep for decades. In the afternoon, Leo asked Mira one question. Do you like gardens? She looked surprised. I don't know. I've never had one. Then let's grow one, he said. They cleared a patch of soil behind the center. Leo showed her how to plant the seeds, how to water them, how to wait. Some may not grow, he said, but some might. Every day Mira came. She watered the soil. She talked to it. Sometimes she read her dad's old journal entries that Leo had found simple notes about Earth's trees, the smell of rain, the way sunflowers follow the sun. I think he loved life, she said one day. Leo smiled. Yes, he did. Then, one morning, a green tip, a tiny shoot, pushing through the dirt. And another dot, and another. Within weeks, a small garden grew: wildflowers, clover, a few tall stems with buds. Not much, but alive. Myra sat beside it every evening, just watching. One day she said, It's like he's still here. Not in person, but in this. Leo nodded. Love doesn't die. It changes form. Sometimes it's a voice, sometimes a letter, sometimes it's a flower. Word spread. Others came not just to search for lost ones, but to plant something. A widow grew wheat from seeds her husband had carried. A boy planted a tree from a sapling his mom once drew in a letter. A group of returnees built a memorial garden, each planting a piece of earth they had carried in their hearts. It became a place of peace that Malik visited often.